welcome everyone to this episode of Notes with Jack. My name is what is this, like episode? This might be episode 27 is what I think it is.
I lost count.
Yeah. Well, my name's Alan Fox, and I am here with the director of the 1983 live broadcast of Thornton Wilder's The Skin of Our Teeth for PBS American Playhouse series. And his name is Jack O'Brien.
That was raw feed to the home near you. I mean, there was no interview. We were on. It was so exciting. You know, people talk about being in the zone. You know, not a term I really completely understand.
Right.
But I was in the zone. I mean,
yeah.
I called in a truck.
So just because, you know, this is before I was born, I just want to make sure I understand.
Is it true?
Yeah. Basically, PBS, right? They're airing it live.
Live to network feed. That's what it's called.
Right. So you're directing the production of this play. Had you been directing it prior to the broadcast, or was it something
This is all my relationship with Lindsay Law, my friend Lindsay Law, who started Fox Searchlight, who's retired, who lives up here now, part of our sort of little, cadre.
Your crew.
Our little, yeah.
Your Connecticut crew.
Our posse. Anyway,
right.
So Lindsay we met basically because it's WNET in New York was going to do the acting company's version of The Robber Bridegroom, which they sort of premiered. And that was Patti LuPone opposite Kevin Kline, both of them recent graduates of Juilliard, and they had the acting company. And then the rights, of course, got screwed up because it was a musical on its way to Broadway. And John Houseman, my mentor, who ran the Juilliard School, ran the drama division, he had this slot. And so they stuck in my debut piece, which was The Time of Your Life, which I think we've discussed. That was the first, it was 50 years ago, the first and a time that I ever worked with Patti LuPone until I did this Broadway show last year.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So we became fast friends and have been friends all these years. And he produced all the television stuff that I did, and I did for him. But this idea of doing a production from the Globe stage in 1983, I took over in 82 as artistic director with Craig Knoll there. He never left. The originator. It was kind of wonderful. So we did it on the stage. It was part of our bill, part of our season.
Okay.
And it was Seda Thompson and Harold, names. I'll think of it. Wonderful people. Blair Brown, who just had a baby. She played Sabina in The Skin of Our Teeth. And I did it on the stage. And then at the end of the run, 5 cameras come in and we shoot live to network feed from the Globe stage.
Wow.
Which meant basically it was like 3 hours altogether, I think. And like we started at 6 in the evening. It was an invited audience that came and sat.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when it was over, it was like 9 o'clock in New York or however that worked. And they were, there it was. I went into the scene shop where all the monitors were there. Yeah. And there it is. It's going on. Unbelievable. I called 500 and some shots. At one point, it was interesting because it's the 3-act play.
So you directed it from the monitor room?
I directed it from the truck.
Right. So wait, you not only did you direct the production on stage, you went into the truck and directed the shot list.
Shot it. Never had done it in my life. Never had done it in my life. And so while it's going around, while it's on, I'm walking around the scene shop, and all the cameramen are watching their work. And I
Right.
go up behind them and I said, I got to tell you something. You got to hear this. I've never done this before. They nearly fainted. And there was a moment at the end of the third act where I had a live camera guy, and the actor got angry and shot and went after him and went out of focus. We lost the camera, and they're in the truck saying, "Oh my God, we lost the camera! What are we going to do?" And I said, "Hold on, camera forward, hold camera. Wait a minute, it's coming back! It's coming back!" I mean, I couldn't believe it. I didn't miss a shot. No, I didn't miss a shot.
It's one of the funniest things you've ever told me.
Yeah, live to network feed.
I just picture you walking up behind some big
Yeah.
burly guy working in the truck, like, "Hey, I need to tell you something."
It's not. I hate
You're
to-
halfway through
I-
the first act.
I didn't want to say this to you before, but I think you should know now. I have never done this in my life. Isn't that fabulous?
Well, did you enjoy it? Like, how did you feel? Like, what was it like?
That's
And so that's when you were in the zone, is what you're. So that was
I
the
was
moment you were in the zone.
like the sense of calm and clarity and peace and an inner kind of joy, thinking like I am at one with the universe. It's true.
I believe. Listen, I believe you. I believe you 1,000%. I just
it
love
was
it. I
wonderful.
love that I never knew. I didn't know you went in the truck like that.
And we did each act. There were 3 acts. I did the first act like a 3-camera sitcom, like I Love Lucy.
Yeah, yeah.
And the second one, which is supposed to be at Atlantic City, we did Atlantic City now, so it was like Vegas, like now.
Huh.
And the third act was like after the world had been blown up. So
Yeah.
it was past, present, and future. It was beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, I've had a great time.
But you never. Okay, so having that experience, you never. Well, I was gonna say you never went into TV, but that's a pretty good segue into our next
Well,
segment.
no. Wait a minute. I did a series of
Yeah.
productions for television. I Never Sang for My Father. I did a whole series of them.
Yeah,
with-
I think you did
all
all
for
my.
Lindsay.
You did all my
The good-
sons. I feel like you told me.
I
Or
did
one
all.
of the.
I did All My Sons. I did. Yep. I did The Good Doctor
Yeah.
with Marcia Mason and Neil Simon when they were married.
Yeah.
I did like
Okay,
6
so
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I liked it.
Yeah. That's great.
You know.
Okay. I don't even know what to add. I'm so amazed by that. That's so cool. Well, then let's use that as a springboard into
Oh, God.
what
All
we're all
right.
really excited to talk about today,
Yeah,
which is Jack Goes to Warner Brothers. Wait, everyone, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to interrupt the episode because it's a great episode and it's actually going to get even better. But unfortunately, in this next segment that I just introduced is Jack Goes to Warner Brothers, Jack got a little loose-lipped with some secret details about his character on The Comeback. So, because we love everyone at The Comeback, and because we're terrified of HBO's lawyers, we're just going to cut the whole segment out and jump forward in the episode. But I need you to trust me. Jack had a great time. Jack did a great job, and they're treating Jack like royalty out in Hollywood. And moving forward, we're still going to be talking, but we're going to do our best not to reveal any secret information about the show until it comes out. And maybe when it does come out, we'll be able to release some of this footage. But in the meantime, back to the episode. Thank you for listening. And is that how you do this?
I'm very impressed with the quality of the people.
Sure.
They're so adorable. They're so dear. They're so welcoming to me and of me, and so friendly and warm. And I was made utterly welcome, and that was lovely. I realized in an odd way something that I'd forgotten. Years ago, Tom Werner, who's a producer of television shows 20 years ago, came down to San Diego, and he was living in San Diego, and he was on my board at the Globe for a while.
Yeah.
And he was sort of fascinated by what I was doing and how I handled it and all that sort of stuff. And he wanted me to do a sitcom for him to come up. And he was producing something called Grace Under Fire, which was Britt Butler, that comedian.
Okay.
Lovely girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the Thanksgiving show.
Yeah.
I went up and shot it. And that's a whole different story. We won't go into it now. But
so wait, you did direct an episode of TV, or you shot?
I did.
I didn't know that.
I don't tell you everything. It's not good for you.
Well, geez, holy cow, man! I keep learning. First, I learned you run the booth in the back in the truck. Now I learned that you directed an episode of Grace Under Fire. Like, that's interesting. Yeah,
I did, and it was so easy because on a 3-camera shoot, on those days, they're so tight. They know exactly what they're doing. Yeah, there's nothing sort of for you to do as the director. Yeah, but be a presence and be confident, and I mean, Brett didn't even block. She had a young woman did all the moves for her. Then she would come in at the last minute, watch the moves. Then she'd do one rehearsal with me, and then when she did, she would do the business. Then she'd look at me. Then she'd do the business, and she'd look at me. She was checking it out. Right, sure. This is it, right? She was great. Yeah. But what I was so impressed with is that they all have such respect for the theater. All of these big television people. Yeah. I don't know if it's the same with film or not.
Well, but I want to ask you a question about this, because actually this would be really interesting to talk to you about. Why did you make a conscious choice not to spend more time in Hollywood? And I think it actually gets to that question of respect and or what kind of, because I feel like you probably had some opportunities to move into directing. I mean, obviously it sounds like you directed some TV. I'm sure there were some opportunities there.
Oh, God, yes.
What was your thought process as someone who wrote a play and then has only written movies? What was your thought process?
Alan, I was running a theater. I was the artistic director of a theater that at its optimum, Tom Hall and I were producing like 17 pieces a season. I couldn't go away. I couldn't leave them.
What was that? Because people, and again, I guess I'm trying to get to what quality is that in you, because people abandon, quote unquote, their theater all the time whenever Mr. Hollywood calls and says, hey, we got a lot of money and easier work for you to come to Southern California and, get to stay in the Beverly Regis or whatever they put you up for the comeback, whatever you said, right?
It's like L'Hermitage.
Yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce that. That's why I said Beverly Regis.
Burton Way. I had a suite.
I know where you were.
Jeremiah was down the hall. I mean, unbelievable.
No, but I'm serious, man. Like, what led to that? Like, what? Because I think you came up in a different time where there was more respect in the theater, or am I just projecting?
A little bit. I mean, you have to remember, I grew up in a series of companies, a very unlikely situation. Yeah. John Houseman had started the Mercury Theater with Orson Welles. Right. And he was on our advisory, and Ellis Rabb had an itinerant company of brilliant young classical actors who insisted on going around the country doing great plays. And I was the single assistant that they could afford. And Bill Ball adopted me. I mean, as I've said, the famous line from Washington Square, the heiress, I was taught by Maestas.
Yeah, but Houseman went to Hollywood, right? They spent more time. Did you love the group of it, the company of it? Was there something, or was there anything intrinsically about the theater that you think spoke to you more than,
interesting,
6 episodes on Grace Under Fire?
I guess I felt that I had an obligation.
Yeah.
I was the I was the receiver of all of this history
Yeah.
of people who passionately believed that the honorable thing in the theater is to serve the text on stage. It
Yeah.
goes back to Shakespeare. It goes
Yeah.
back 400, 500 years.
Yeah.
And I was born in that stable.
Yeah.
And so I took it very seriously. And then I knew that, I mean, I was taught to respect that. And that when all those people who love to go to San Diego and work with Craig Knoll, and they all wanted that job, and Bill Ball even tried to take the theater away from him, and they had a famous schism that I sort of solved after 20 years. I mean, I was the person who that got the job. They gave it to me. Do
Yeah.
you want to do this?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm having a little trouble trying to understand why that's unusual, but I guess you're right.
I don't think it's I mean I actually, I'll speak to it from my own perspective, because I think that, when we got on the air today, we talked about, you were saying how you were a little down just because of everything that's going on in the country, right? And
Yeah.
we don't need to get into too many specifics, but
No.
I feel kind of down too for a number of different reasons, right? And I think that part of the reason we're having so much trouble, not just as a country, but also perhaps with the arts, with this, like, people don't have that responsibility to institution anymore. When I hear you talk about the theater, it is a thing that is there to be celebrated and sort of it's bigger than you. I guess we get back to this a lot. It's bigger than you. The theater is bigger than you. The text is bigger than you. It's all bigger than you, and you have a responsibility to serve it, because there's something really noble and good about doing that, and it's valuable, right? And I don't feel that as much, and I hate that I don't feel it, and I've actually started to like really wrestle with that a lot, because I want to feel it more. And sometimes I wonder if that's a product of a generational thing, or it's like, because from my standpoint, people I know, it's like, Hollywood is where you go make a lot of money, so why wouldn't you go to Hollywood? And it kind of kills me when I feel that emotion come up in me.
Which emotion?
That feeling of, if it's like you can devote your life to the theater, right now, like, let's say you're me, you're and you devote your life to the theater. In a lot of ways, you'll start to feel like it doesn't matter, because what's the value of the theater anymore? Like in our world, like, what's the value? Versus, like, that's what's so curious. I don't know if you would meet a theater director my age who would turn down opportunities in Hollywood because they felt a responsibility to the theater.
Yeah.
And I think, but what I mean is, I think that's actually similar to maybe what's going on with a lot of institutions now, where there's this feeling of, because younger people don't feel a responsibility to, like, the tradition of those institutions, that we don't know if it's valuable anymore. We're not sure. We don't believe it in the same way, And I'm not saying anything is good and anything is bad. I'm just trying to make an observation, because I actually admire the fact that you spent so much time devoting yourself to the theater because it was important, and you had been taught that it was important, and you had a responsibility with this knowledge to help keep it elevated. I know I just talked a lot, but does that make sense?
Well, we do talk a lot. Let's face it. I was listening to one of our recent things. I thought, oh my God, Jack, shut up, just shut up.
Well, now you can say, Alan, shut up when you listen
No,
to this
no, no.
episode.
I'm so relieved,
Right.
because you know what I feel.
Yeah.
Look, here's the deal. I'm just sitting here thinking, what is that? A confrontation, a live confrontation, is incredibly powerful. When you enter a room with another person and you meet someone who's you admire, or you fear, or you are curious about, they're there in the room with you. And what happens, the transactional situation, is the stuff of memory.
Hmm.
You remember distinctly the contact you make with certain people. And I think you measure some of your life by that. Most people do.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
met whoever, when I met Eisenhower, when I met Gene Autry or whatever, you suddenly think I was in the same air as that person
Yeah.
that I admire or that who holds some mystery for me. And I think to me, the great thing about the theater is that we show up and for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, three, sometimes longer in the case of my work, God knows, you're just hanging out.
Yeah.
And it's dangerous
Yeah.
because you're being asked to witness something. You're being asked to attend to something that is actually occurring in front of you.
Sure.
And that, even if it's minor, is compelling. When you do a television show or you do a film, it's edited and it's mixed and it's saved and you put it together like a jigsaw puzzle and there it is. But when you're actually living it, it's like the people at the top of the tent flinging themselves and hoping a pair of hands will catch them. That's
Yeah.
breathtaking.
Yeah. I agree. I guess what I'm. Go ahead. I'm
So
sorry.
I don't know what to say except if that's your jam, what are you going to do? I
No.
mean, I find it deeply moving. I find it exhilarating. I know that it changes people. It affects people in a way that something else doesn't. I sometimes am ashamed that I don't go to the ballet enough or the symphonies enough where it's happening in front of you, because those are the things that I find most vivid in my life.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. I
No.
don't
I
think I'm
get it.
explaining this very
No,
well.
no, no, no. You're explaining it perfectly. And what I'm thinking about, because we love to get into this, the generational thing on this
Yeah, yeah,
podcast is
yeah,
I almost feel that pressure now with movies versus what occurs on the internet.
yeah.
That tension, because even like take this for instance, this little podcast we do, right? It's like a lot of times we'll talk about, well, how do we get more people to listen? And there'll be ideas sometimes from people, just random people I'll talk to, which will be sort of cheapening it or making it seem more silly than I want it to feel,
Uh-huh.
because I always aimed for this to, in whatever small way, add value to people's lives in a sort of like infotainment, educational kind of way, and be inspired by someone like you. And I never wanted it to feel cheap, or I never wanted to use a lot of like internet sort of like, how do we get the most attention by being stupid? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
How
yeah.
however, you're constantly at war with, well, but if that feels like where it's all going, why does what I'm trying to offer valuable? And what I'm wondering about is with when you're looking at the theater, it's like you obviously see it as that's your jam, that in-person conflict. And the fact you resisted any temptation to go into something that was not your jam just because you felt like time was moving that way in certain ways at certain times, I just find that really admirable. And maybe that's because I'm just wrestling with it so much now, but um yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it has to do. I'm just searching through this. I think it has to do with the quality of value,
Yeah.
things that you value.
Yeah.
And I think when I look around me in the world right now, value is in peril.
Yeah.
The things that we thought we valued, that were precious to us, were inviolable, and now they're not.
Yeah.
And we're being asked to define ourselves. We're being asked to say, how far will you go? How far, what is priceless to you? What do you, in the living of your life, consider to be essential? And that you would fight for, hang on to, believe in. And it's a big wind going on where we're being asked to choke back. And yet most of us have value. There are things that we value. The family value, education, faith, things that are basically at the core of making us work, function, work, elevate us more than insects.
Yeah.
And this is part of it. It gets narrower and more intense when it's threatened.
Yeah.
And I get confused because I think, how can this even be an issue? But suddenly it is an issue.
Yeah.
And so you find yourself talking to somebody that you care about, as I do you, and there's this huge amount of time that separates us, and yet there's something I'd fight for our friendship. I'd fight for this conversation. I get very, very cranky if we miss a week, you know?
Right.
And
Yeah,
then,
no, of course.
maybe that's what people in therapy feel like too, a little bit, you know? You feel you need that connection, but I know I value it, and I know it makes me whole. That's all I can say.
And the theater was also one of those things too.
The theater is at the heart of that for me because I've had the wonderful opportunity to try, as you said, a lot of different situations, and now I'm putting on a goddamn wig and saying somebody else's lines in front of a camera. I never thought that would happen.
Yeah.
But only this stem of honor matters to me now.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. I really do get it, and I feel like I get it more and more with with everything that has happened to me that I was told was important. I get that stem of honor more. That's what I'll say. It's an inverse relationship. That's
why we can't sell this, because you gotta find us.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In all of the shit that's going around, you got to find us and think, I'll stay there for a while.
Yeah. Well, it's like the insect thing, man. I love how you talk about the insects sort of making
recognize each other,
the frequency, and they hear them across the field, and that's how they know.
Their mate,
I think we all sort of work that way in a lot of ways.
So too.
But that's all right, man. Well, all we can do is, I guess, keep fighting for those things we value. I love that idea of thinking about, like, you're right, man. It really feels in flux a lot in my own life individually, in the world I look at around me. It's like, what do we actually value? I struggle with that a lot, actually, right now.
And it's why we need each other.
Yeah.
We have to turn those ideas over and articulate them all the time to make sure this is true. And it isn't true for everybody, and our truth isn't everybody's truth. I understand that. I respect that. But you gotta have something to hold on to.
Yeah. That's what I don't have a clear something right now. It's curious. Did you feel like you always worked out your truths with others?
I don't know how to even respond to that. I mean, what a question. I don't know. You know, I don't, it's so interesting, Alan. I don't think I've done that good a job. And now I got all these privileges of this access, and people who are being very kind to me. And, you know, they gave me an award last year, the Lifetime Achievement. And I remember the last thing I said to them is, a life in the theater is what I wish for you. And that blew a lot of people away. Yeah. Because it hadn't occurred to them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still trying to make sense out of it, and you're helping me. You do help me. No, you do. Ha 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 ha.
No, I know. I'm laughing. I'm laughing because maybe that's the real brilliance of life, is that even when we feel like, because I'm in a place right now where I feel like I couldn't help I can't help my 1-year-old nephew figure out life at this point. You know what I mean? Like I have no idea what to make of anything in my own life.
I know.
And then so to be able to be in, that's why I was curious about, like, to be able to be in conversation with someone that you respect and you not only care about them, but you care about their opinion. It feels like that's a way of sort of like trying to chisel away at whatever your value or your truth is, you know?
Well, we don't have a plan, you and I. We don't. We don't have a
No,
plan. We don't.
no,
And
no.
so, and here we're still doing this. And I think to myself, if I talk about value, it has value to me, and
Yeah,
it seems to have value to you. So there's the unit
yeah,
of there's the little insect sound
yeah,
that's out there, and we just have to do our best, I guess.
yeah.
I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm not.
Oh, I
Giving
know
up.
that, man. You got to go back and put your wig on, man. You're definitely, we're not letting you give up.
I've got to learn some lines,
You got to
baby.
learn some lines. All right. Well, with that in mind, man, what a great chat. We covered a lot
Yeah,
right there. That was
we
good.
did.
All right. So so you're going to learn lines. When are you headed back to LA? Do you know?
I'm
Back to
here.
here.
I have about a week here at home
Good.
because it's the holidays, the Jewish holidays, basically.
Oh, right. Yeah. Right.
So that's why no one out there is working,
Sure.
and so everyone's gone home to eat brisket.
Sure. Yeah. Is anything going on with the Sound of Music quickly before we sign off? Did you have
Oh,
any more
it's doing
thoughts or
so well.
anything
It's
going on?
doing so well.
Yeah.
But I just got a connection with everybody. I'm missing them terribly.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go. I'm trying to figure out when I'm done in Los Angeles. Then
Yeah.
I'm going directly to them to spend a couple of days with them to give them notes because they're going to need some feedback, and I'm going to die to see it. But they're doing beautifully. The audiences love it. I get great reports. Shucked is in San Francisco, making them laugh. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sort of out there doing my thing.
Yeah, man, you are out there. You're definitely out there. If nothing else, you are out there. All
I'm
right.
out there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right, man. Well, then we'll sign off. We'll catch up with you next week, probably before you head out to LA, and we'll just keep it moving. And maybe, listen, if you ever need any help, we can run lines on here, and
Oh,
everyone
that's
can
a
listen.
great idea.
I don't know if we should do that. Not till it comes
No,
out.
we
but,
won't be doing that.
we won't be doing that. All right.
No.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Jack. We love you for taking the time, and we will speak with you soon.
I hope so.
All right.
Bye.
Talk later. Thanks, everyone.